Hello, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. I'm Mace from the west coast of Canada, Vancouver Island to be specific. I've seen actually quite a few comments of people that have been over to Canada, not just Canada, but on Vancouver Island, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, let's get into this. Actually, speaking on to that last point that I just made, seeing that people have commented they've been on Vancouver Island. I used to work in the airline business, and quite often I would see German families and people flying inbound to go on their trips. Sometimes ecotourism, which would be, if you don't know what that is, it's like it's not hunting, but you're going out into the wilderness to see grizzly bears and to see what we call Desolation Sound in British Columbia. It's in between Vancouver Island and about 75 miles northwest of Vancouver, British Columbia, and it's an amazing, amazing place that it's just, you really have to see it and be there to experience it. But yeah, you can see lots of grizzly bears and wildlife, and it's just pristine and untouched, and landscapes like you would never believe. And my parents actually used to have a fishing lodge in Desolation Sound. So if you ever get a chance and you're over in Canada, maybe try to get over to Desolation Sound. Or if you get over to Vancouver Island, just go to Strathcona Park, go to Tofino. Victoria, British Columbia is amazing. And yeah, I'm just trying to give my little small piece of knowledge about Vancouver Island, as I've lived here my whole life. All right. Well, besides, I lived in Vancouver, British Columbia as well, but that's just across the water. I've gotten a lot of comments to check out this video about Northern Germany, Meet the Germans road trip. It's going to be a look and insight into the regionalities and characteristics and specific things to Northern Germany, how they do things there, how they say things. So excited to get into the video. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get it.
Moin.
Moin.
Hey, moin. Moin. Okay, now I know how you say it. I've been like wondering, and I know there's different ways to say good morning. Guten Morgen would be like a very formal way, I guess. Moin. 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 Seems very moin. Moin. Moin.
Moin. Moin.
Moin.
Moin.
Welcome to the first leg of our Meet the Germans road trip. And as you might have guessed from those
Part
regions
1.
right there, we're up north. According to the Happiness Atlas, this is where many of the happiest Germans live. That doesn't necessarily mean that you'll feel the happiness oozing out of them. The Northerners are known for their cool approach and for being people of few words. Moin doesn't actually mean morning. It's thought to come from the Low German for good, and it can be used as a greeting at any time of day. You might also hear moin moin, but in some areas that's thought to be over the top. For our jaunt around northern Germany, we'll be visiting the states of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, Schleswig-Holstein, and
Mecklenburg-Vorpommern.
Vorpommern, Schleswig-Holstein, and Niedersachsen, as well as two of Germany's three city-states, Hamburg and Bremen. Don't be deceived. While the weather kind of seems okay today, these guys are never far away. To describe the typical northern weather, let's use some local terminology. Schmuddelwetter, essentially dirty weather.
Schmuddelwetter is probably cloudy. That's what.
Or Schiedwetter. Yes, that's weather that's, well, sheet. So we're talking
That's shit weather.
cold, wet, and with a good dose of wind. And what does the north of Germany actually look like? Well, it's pretty flat and pretty green. There's more than 1,500 kilometers of coastline as well as many islands. More than half the land in the north is used.
What were those little things on the beach? 1,500 kilometers of coastline. Oh, that's a lot.
1,500 kilometers of coastline as well as many islands.
What are those little things on the beach? I can't figure it out.
More than half the land in the north is used for agriculture. There are various large companies based here, for example, car and ship manufacturers, and tourism plays a big part in the coastal economy. The northeastern state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern is the least densely populated state in Germany, with just 69 people per square kilometre. But what it lacks in people, it makes up for in lakes. In fact, it boasts Europe's largest landlocked lake district.
Yeah.
Meckpomm is the only new or former East German state in the north of Germany. You can still see a few reminders of this era, for example in its Plattenbau or prefab architecture and long stretches of FKK nudist beaches. Perhaps the most iconic symbol of German beaches is the Strand.
Everyone put in the comments, have you been to a nudist beach? Would you go to a nudist beach? 2 questions for you.
Korb or beach basket. It was invented here in Rostock in the late 1800s as a comfortable solution for wind-battered tourists on the Baltic coast. Today you can rent them along much of Germany's coastal areas and islands. Talking of islands, I honestly had no idea that Germany had any islands until I moved here, which is pretty embarrassing considering...
Those things are actually genius where you have large concentrations of tourists. I guess there would be positives and negatives to having these things all over your beaches. I could see them, though, definitely making sense and definitely being convenient and practical for tourists to be renting them and as little mini businesses and drivers of the economy. A lot of our smaller beaches, and like me and my wife, we have a lot of secret beaches that I won't be divulging to you. I'm sorry, but these are secret beaches and we don't want all the riffraff coming out to the beaches and disturbing our peace. Sometimes we'll go out for a barbecue. We'll pack up early in the morning, pack up the Jeep, drive an hour. We get to our lake and another 15-minute walk with our little buggy. We take our barbecue, we take everything, food, chairs, table, and we have a secret beach. And it's like the movies. Like when we leave, there's like a trail that we cut out to it, and we like put these big bushes like back in the trail so nobody can get out to it because it's ours and we made it our home for recreational activities. But yeah, this looks beautiful.
It has more than 40 of them. You've got your more schickimicki Sylt, where you can do a bit of German celeb
Schickimicki?
For the best chance of sun, head to Fehmarn or Rügen, or venture further out to the Helgoland archipelago. Then there's the chain of East Frisian islands, many of which are car-free or car-restricted zones. I've taken the ferry over to one of the larger islands, Norderney, in order to get a feel for German island life.
Ja, hier ist ruhig.
Ruhiger wie auf dem Festland.
Definitiv entspannter.
Man braucht kein Auto.
Und ganz gesunde Luft, man schläft hier wie tot.
Hier ist so ein bisschen heile Welt noch.
You sleep like a corpse. That's a deep sleep. But it seems like they're really saying, yeah, it's idyllic, it's peaceful, it's calm, in comparison to the mainland, which is something that I would love personally. I prefer, less traffic, less people, a calmer vibe. It's all about like that vibe, right? We have a phrase here on the island. We call it island time. So it's like you're on island time once you're over there. Things just move at a slower pace. It's not such a rush. It's not such a rat race to get everywhere and do things. And right, you're really living life at a simpler pace, a more peaceful place. So it seems like that's what these northern Germans are kind of getting at.
Im Winter haben wir ein bisschen Ruhe, jetzt haben wir ein bisschen Trubel, ne? Da leben wir natürlich von.
Ja.
Hier hat man Ruhe, Sport, Bewegung. Die Work-Life-Balance ist einfach fantastisch.
This is also a really rich area for biodiversity. The Wattenmeer is the world's largest unbroken system of intertidal sand and mudflats, and a large part of it is found along Germany's North Sea coast. It's a vital site for migratory birds, and it's home to numerous plant species and animals like seals and harbour porpoises. One thing that connects all the northern states is language. Low German, known as Plattdeutsch or Niederdeutsch, is an officially recognised and protected regional language. It's descended from Old Saxon, and it has many different local dialects, such as Hamburger Platt and Mecklenburgisches Niederdeutsch. While High German has been encroaching steadily since the 1950s, Platt is still widely spoken among the older generation, and efforts have been made to preserve the language, for example with radio shows and lessons in schools. And some young people are also keen to keep their linguistic heritage alive.
Moin Leeflu. Moin Leeflu. Moin Leeflu. Ik ben Dieke en vandaag werd ik Plattdeutsch Dünnedag. Ja, ik ben Dieke. Ik ben 22 Jahre alt. Ik kom uit Auwok oder uit Südbrockmerland in der Nähe von Auwok und mittlerweile lebe ich hier auf der Insel Norderney. Ich glaube, das Plattdeutsche ist einfach wirklich super natürlich und es wird einfach frei Schnauze geredet und selbst die bösesten Schimpfwörter klingen irgendwie lustig und man nimmt es nicht übel.
Even the worst swear words sound kind of funny and you can't take it badly. That's perfect. It is funny how accents and linguistics can change the context of certain words or the way that people perceive certain words. It's interesting.
Es ist halt in der Vergangenheit eben häufig so gewesen, dass ältere Personen ihren Kindern oder ihren Enkeln das nicht mehr beigebracht haben, weil es dann immer hieß, die können dann niemals wirklich Hochdeutsch sprechen oder es gab da immer so ein paar Vorurteile in der Vergangenheit und das kann ich halt total widerlegen. Mir hat das sogar eher noch viel gebracht, weil das auch ähnlich zum Englischen zum Teil ist und dadurch ist mir zum Beispiel das Englischlernen eigentlich relativ leicht gefallen. Dann
Yeah, I've seen a lot of comments about that, how there's a lot of similarities between English and German, and I believe English is a Germanic language. Like they are rooted in the same language if you go back into the historical context of it. So it's interesting. I know somebody mentioned there's a video which I am going to try to find. I don't know if I've been sent the link yet, where somebody explains you can just take out or you can swap certain letters within words, like Tag, for instance. If you swap out the T for a D, I think that's what they said, like something like that. Guten Tag turns into Guten, like good day, right?
Der Schule. Ja, also es ist eben ein Teil von Ostfriesland und auch ein Teil von Norddeutschland. Das ist eben was bewahrt werden muss.
Back in the day, Low German was also the Seemannssprache, nautical language, and
Seemannssprache.
Hansasprache, Hanseatic or trade
Hansasprache.
language. And that's our cue for a little walk down memory lane. The Hanseatic League was an organisation of merchant guilds, ports and market towns that dominated trade in Northern Europe from the 13th to the 15th century, and it all began here in northern Germany. Hanse was a medieval German word for guild or association, and the Hanseatic League was set up in order to protect mutual trading interests, from tax arrangements to defence against pirates. Lübeck and Schleswig-Holstein had easy access to both the North and Baltic Seas. It was the hub of the Hanseatic League and one of the most important trading posts in Northern Europe. Many northern cities like Lübeck, Wismar or Stralsund still wear their Hansestadt or Hanseatic city titles with pride. Have you ever wondered why cars registered in Hamburg have HH number plates? That stands for Hansestadt Hamburg. And here we are in Germany's second largest city. It boasts the third largest harbour in Europe,
Hamburg?
the largest warehouse district in the world, way more bridges than Venice, and more than 100 swans, a symbol of the city's historical sovereign status. This northern metropolis is
You say more than 100 swans? There's only 100 swans? Are they endangered? It doesn't seem like very many swans.
also known for its Reeperbahn red light district, its striking Elbphilharmonie concert
Ah,
hall,
that
and
building.
fish.
That building looks amazing. I like the architecture on it. I did see it in a prior video as well.
Hamburg is also the youngest German state, with an average age of just over 42. Incidentally, red brick architecture, particularly Backstein Gothic or brick Gothic, is typical of northern
Brick
Germany,
Gothic.
which lacks sufficient natural supplies of building stone. Anyway, back to the fish. Unsurprisingly, seafood is a staple of
Yum.
northern cuisine. An absolute classic is Matjes, soused herring. Other traditional dishes up north include
Like that to me, it doesn't look appetizing just for me personally, but that's just a bias. Like I would definitely try it. So is it not cooked, the fish? It looks like it's raw fish. Maybe is it just seasoned with salt and pepper and then, or is it braised a little bit? I can't really tell.
classic is Matjes, soused herring.
Soused.
Other traditional
I'm not sure what
dishes up
soused
north
means.
include Kohl und Pinkel, that's kale and smoked sausage, and various hearty soups and
Kohl
stews.
in Pinkel?
Labskaus was originally whipped up from long-lasting ingredients
Is that
for sailors on long trips at sea.
like
it's
corned
kind
beef?
of a mush of corned beef and potato. If you're lucky, you might get some pickled herring and a fried egg on top.
It's funny, this meal here is very similar to like a Filipino silog breakfast, which is a variety of breakfasts that typically compose egg, usually sunny side up egg, with usually corned beef, bacon, spam, just like a simply prepared meat, except you don't usually have like pickles or anything like that, or herring, or beets. Is that beets? You'd usually have like a mango with it, and some other fruits. And then as well, of course, your coffee.
Fancy something sweet?
She didn't
Allow
look
me
very-
to introduce you to one of my all-time favorite German foods, which was invented right here in Hamburg. The Franzbrötchen. Think cinnamon swirl, but even better.
I want
And
it.
of course, we
I want it
can't neglect
now.
the beer. Exactly which brand you drink depends largely on where you are. Here in Bremen, just as everywhere else, there's plenty of local pride involved. But here in the north, we're generally talking some kind of Pilsner. But there's another drink that I've had on my bucket list for ages, Ostfriesentee.
Ostfriesentee.
Move over Turkey and Great Britain. Ostfriesland is apparently the tea drinking capital of the world. The East Frisians drink an average of 300 litres of tea a year. And there's a whole ritual involved. I've come to Leer, the birthplace of East Frisian tea, to get initiated in a traditional tea ceremony.
Als erstes braucht man...
Tea is like the simplest and most elegant and best way to just do something with a group of people, like a group of friends. Hey, do you want to come over for tea? Sure. And then you go over and you have some tea. Bring it out on a tray, have some tea, chat, have some like biscuits or a snack. Hey, I did something today. I had tea.
Erstmal einen schönen Kluntje. Der kommt zuerst in die Tasse.
Hey.
Dann gießt man...
Wait a second. What was that? Candied sugar.
Braucht man erstmal einen schönen Kluntje. Der kommt zuerst in die Tasse. Dann gießt man den Tee ein.
So,
und das knistert
candied
jetzt ein
sugar?
bisschen.
Tea over the sugar? Does it melt the sugar?
Der Tee ist schön dunkel und kräftig.
Or it slowly
Ein
melts?
kräftiger Assam-Tee. Dann braucht man Sahne. Und das
You
machen
need the
wir
crème.
immer entgegen dem Uhrzeigersinn,
Oh.
weil wir beim Tee trinken die Zeit anhalten.
I love how it's like an art.
Und das Ganze nennt sich dann das...
I love how it's like an art, and life, when you can make things into an art, make things more pretty, make things more beautiful, just in your daily life, that's amazing. Like, look, make something artistic. Look at that creativity. And then it looks beautiful too. And then it's a living art, right? It's not like you're painting something, but just watch the tea when the crème is mixing.
Tee trinken die Zeit anhalten.
It's interesting. It's cool.
Und das Ganze nennt sich dann das Wulkje, weil das aussieht wie eine kleine Wolke.
Umrühren darf ich nicht, oder?
Nein, es wird einfach so in Schichten getrunken. Also man trinkt gleich erstmal so diese sahnige Schicht und dann trinkt man langsam eben sich durch bis zum letzten süßen Schluck.
Who knew that drinking tea could be
Die
so
Menschen haben ja hier früher sehr viel auch
elegant.
draußen gearbeitet. Es war oft schlechtes Wetter, es war kalt, es war nass. Und da war so eine Teepause sehr willkommen, weil der Tee ist schön heiß.
Pause? Yeah.
Außerdem wird bei der Zubereitung von Tee ja das Wasser abgekocht. Und das war sehr gut, weil das Wasser war oft sehr keimhaltig hier in Ostfriesland. Die Leute wurden krank, wenn die das Wasser so nicht abgekocht getrunken haben. Als Ostfriese wächst man da einfach rein und man weiß eigentlich gar nicht, wie man anders Tee trinken kann.
Don't be surprised if your host tops you up immediately. Apparently it's commonplace to drink at least 3 cups. Then you show that you've had your fill by placing your teaspoon in your cup. Please leave your top tips for Northern Germany.
That's a
in
lot
the
of tea,
comments,
3
and I'll
cups.
See you soon as the Meet the Germans road trip continues.
All right, so that was really interesting, informative look at areas of northern Germany. A lot of cool little interesting characteristics and things that are specific to that area. I really like it. Yeah, if you have any comments for me, anything like that, let me know in the comment section. There's also a form that you can fill, a link to a form if you want to send me any YouTube videos or articles, anything like that. I'll definitely take a look. I don't even have to put them on the channel. You can just say, like, I can take a look at them if you'd like. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video. Take care, everybody. Ciao.